You're listening to the Hidden Killers podcast with Tony Brueski,
featuring attorney, guest, and former felony prosecutor Eric Faddis.
Sherri Papini back in the news, or Papini. I've been saying Papini. I believe it's Papini. And this is a case that really just shocked the nation when it happened. This is a mom who disappeared, claimed that she was kidnapped by two Hispanic women, drugged to a home, stuck there for weeks on end, experienced abuse, literally came back with huge bruises and also cottering marks on her back from a cottering heat cotterer what you'd use for like wood, basically branding herself and coming back very convincingly, looking like she'd been horribly abused, then stayed with her husband, and her husband stayed with her for several more years as they tried to put the pieces of their life back together until it turned out the authorities realized it was all made up, completely a lie. Perfect Wife is a documentary on Hulu that's kind of brought a lot of this back to the surface. Joining me to discuss, Eric Faddis, defense attorney, former prosecutor. What a crazy case that someone is able to go out and do all of these things and really not have that super strong of consequences for it.
No, totally. And I think the nation, when this happened, their heart went out to Sherri, and they said, gosh, this woman she's been tortured. She's been kidnapped. This is a tragedy. And then it turns out it was all fake. And so Sherri manipulated everybody, including her own family. And I'm not really aware of any significant consequences she's faced because of this.
No, I mean, she was behind bars for a short period of time, even got out many months earlier than she should have. She went to a halfway house and is trying to restart her life. I know she made a statement saying that she's going to try and live the rest of her life, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing here, trying to make up for the wrongs that she did. We go to the psychological standpoint of something like this. Usually people don't change all of that much. I'm hoping to God that she can live a productive life of some way, shape, or form and doesn't destroy any more lives. But we did see some new things in this documentary that came out from Keith Papini, who was the focus of it, seeing it from his perspective. One of the most disturbing things that we saw in there were the allegations of abuse involving rubbing alcohol, where she would allegedly take rubbing alcohol, put it in front of the kid's nose so they felt ill, and then even put tissues in a baggie, in a Ziploc bag, and keep it open and tie it around their neck so they would inhale the fumes so that they appeared sick when she took them to a doctor's office. Crazy. I mean, just utterly nuts that one would do this, but when we understand Sherri a little bit more, everything was for attention. It didn't matter who she was harming. I don't know what else has happened, but that's what we heard publicly in the documentary. Should this be reviewed a little bit more in terms of child abuse? Is that enough to bring further charges against her?
The lengths to which she went for attention, for, whatever her objective was, are just offensive. And like you said, potentially putting children at risk. I'm wondering if there's probably a statute of limitations issue on trying to charge her with that, because if it happened in 2016, that act of sort of mild poisoning of a kid, while of course egregious, is probably still a misdemeanor, land. And I'm wondering if the statute of limitations has run on that, and she'll never be held accountable for it.
That's the thing. I mean, you look at this and you go, God, you want this woman to be held accountable, but I don't know that Sherri Papini is really capable of, feeling the guilt or feeling the remorse. The husband, Kevin, in the documentary said that she has never at one point ever apologized, ever said anything, I'm sorry I put you guys through this. I mean, she was sitting there at her boyfriend's house watching the coverage of the nation searching for her children crying, and just, kept going as if that's just what she wanted to do that day.
Yeah, totally. And like you said, we want someone like that to kind of learn a lesson, hopefully. But I'm not sure, like you said, she's capable of learning that lesson. Would really any of that stick with her and promote some kind of change in her behavior? I think that's a bit doubtful from what I saw in that documentary.
Yeah, I mean, is it just kind of a lost cause? Are we better off just keeping her out of the system and hoping to God that she doesn't destroy other lives or do anything else crazy? I mean, a lot of people like this, they do manage to skate through life. with their disorder, but they don't necessarily go to that extreme of a length. That makes you wonder if we are going to hear more from Sherri, or is it best with something like this if you're the attorney for her ex-husband, and he's bringing this to you saying, "Look, we have evidence of this." What would you recommend to someone like him? Because obviously you'd have to get the kids involved. The kids would have to testify. They'd have to go through all of that stuff, the nightmare that they've already dealt with their own mother. Is this something where it's just best to let it go and just let her, she's not in their life. She's doing her own thing. He's doing his own thing over here, trying to raise those kids. Is it best just to wash his hands of it at this point?
Yeah, the question of can you pursue legal action is a lot different than the question of should you pursue legal action. You've got to kind of do a cost-benefit analysis on this one. What are you really going to gain by putting her back in the system? Like you said, is she really going to learn any lessons? She's already been to a halfway house and whatever. And the kids are going to probably be re-traumatized. It's probably going to make things, family dynamics even worse. And so is it worth it?
And that's the big question. I think if I were dad in that situation, I'd be saying no. As much as you want to see more or real justice done for that sort of behavior, I don't know that you're ever really going to get it the way that things are set up right now. I mean, unless you had some other real egregious thing you could go after her with. But other than that,
we have the system, but the system just doesn't neatly fit into like human behavior all the time, and it doesn't always have the best solution.
Yeah, I would just say, hopefully whoever dates her in the future has a chance to watch the documentary beforehand. She's an attractive woman. She's going to attract somebody, and it's good luck, whoever that is that's now watching this years later, trying to Google, what did I just go through? Don't say we didn't tell you so. Should have Googled it earlier.
Sorry, bro. Yeah.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.